Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the DeKalb County Fire Rescue Class 110 graduation ceremony. I am Captain Eric Jackson, fire captain here at DeKalb Fire Rescue Department. I am actually standing in for your public information officer, Captain Dion Bentley. So I am absolutely thrilled to be here this evening. But without further ado, let's get ready to welcome our Class 110 of the DeKalb County Fire Rescue Academy. Let's give it up for him again. And if you don't mind here, I'm going to ask you all to stand as we get ready to welcome the presentation of colors by our very own DeKalb County Fire Rescue Honor Guard. Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Order. Face. Forward. March.
And if you all still remain standing, we have a very special treat by DeKalb County's own Canangela Robertson. You all may be seated. Thank you so much. We could not proceed any further without the invocation. For that, I will invite Chaplain Micah Lemon.
Thank you, Captain. Every head bowed, every eye closed as we go before the throne of grace today. Supremely great, all-wise, all-merciful one, thou who orders our steps and our very breath. Thou, God, we come today with reverence, asking you to touch and bless this occasion with your powerful hand. Lord, with resolute faith and trust in you, we claim your providential word, which declares that all things work together for the good, for them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. Lord, we come here today asking you to bless those who are taking the oath today. Give them the strength to serve the present age. Bless them, O Lord, with a will to power and abilities that remain sharp. Lord, continue to uplift this department and this great county that we serve, its citizens, its stakeholders, and its leadership. Lead us and guide us each and every day, each and every way as we travel life's highway. In your magnificent name, we all do say, Amen.
Thank you very much. If we have any elected officials in the house, would you please stand? So to my right, we have Commission District 2 Commissioner Jeff Rader. We have District 3 Commissioner Larry Johnson. And we have our newly inaugurated Super District 7 Commissioner Lorraine Cochran-Johnson. Let's give them a hand. Coming up next, we have two more introductions, but one I certainly want to make mention of because he's going to come before us. But to my immediate left, we have our Director of Public Safety, Jack H. Lumpkin Sr., or Joseph H. Jack Lumpkin Sr., who is our Public Safety Director. And to my immediate left, who's going to bring you just a couple of words, we have our very own Michael Thurmond, DeKalb County CEO. Let's give him a hand.
All right. Thank you. Good afternoon to Director Lumpkin, Chief Fulham, Fire and Rescue Command staff, to all the men and women, brave and courageous, who wear the uniform and serve us with DeKalb Fire and Rescue, to the distinguished, hard-working, good-looking 110 graduating class. Give yourselves a hand. And Captain Jackson introduced, but I want to acknowledge once again my colleagues who serve on the Board of Commissioners, Presiding Officer Rader, Commissioner Johnson, and our newest member who's going to do great things, Commissioner Lorraine Cochran-Johnson. I, on behalf of them, bring greetings to you on behalf of the 750,000 residents of DeKalb County, Georgia, our 6,000 employees, to family and friends who've journeyed from far and near. Welcome to this very special occasion. We're excited that you have allowed your loving family members to become a part of a team that we're most proud of, which is DeKalb Fire and Rescue. We have 49 graduates, which is one of the largest graduating classes we've had in over a decade. And this class has built some unique characteristics. One current chief and one current captain each have a son graduating in the class 110, the second generation. That's Chief Tinsley and Captain Holcomb, but these are millennials. So 110 is the first DeKalb Fire Rescue class to have produced and made a music rap video. Y'all can give them a hand for that too, I don't know. And we have two, and I want them to stand up right now, two female graduates. Please stand, please stand. And finally this, on behalf of the commissioners and myself, we know that you're joining the best and the brightest. You all have been called out and called upon to serve and protect the citizens of our great county. I thank you, I thank your family members, and on behalf of the Board of Commissioners and the CEO, we make one commitment, is that the DeKalb Rescue will become and will continue to be the best trained, the best equipped, and best paid fire department in the state of Georgia. We have made major investments in increasing salaries. Just this past year, we provided with the commissioners a 4% across the board, mid-year almost, pay raise for all of our fire and rescue employees. We're going to continue to invest in equipment, rapid response vehicles. If you all, as you are brave enough to put your lives on the line for us, then we're going to put our commitment behind you to support you and your families. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Just before we get to the fun part where we start the awards and pinning badges, I just want to do some quick introductions very quickly. Again, you all have just heard from our CEO, Michael Thurmond, and sitting next to him is our Director of Public Safety, Jack Lumpkin. Next to him is our Fire Chief, Darnell Fulham. Next to him is our Deputy Chief, Shane Dobson. Sitting next to him is our Deputy Chief, Jason Garrett. Next to him is Battalion Chief of Training, Derek Roberts. Coming on the second row here, we have Assistant Chief Bill Voorhees. Next to him is Battalion Chief Kimberly Bullock Unanks, that is. Next to her is Captain Fred Poole. Next to him is Captain Todd McCullum. In the back row, the last row, Master Firefighter Adrian Ziad. Next to her is Captain Troy Augustin. We're going to move to the front row in the middle. Behind the helmets is Instructor Charles Gray. Next to him is the now retired William Bill Gouveia, whose EMT class, this was his last class he taught, so we welcome him back. Next to him, Instructor Carlos Lindsay. Next to him, Instructor Gregory Huff. Starting in the second row, Instructor Rodney Heindel. Next to him, Instructor Hans Trotty. Sitting next to him, Jeremiah McCullough. Next to him, Instructor David Goddard. Sitting next to him is Instructor Charlene Jardon. And in the third row, we have Instructor Paige Riggs, Instructor Robin Martin, Instructor Fidel Miranda. We have Instructor William Bill Lillard, and Instructor Mike Morris. He wanted a little flair to it. So let's give him a round of applause for our instructors and our fire rescue staff. Okay, so now this is the time we've been waiting for. So we are going to start the pinning portion of this exercise. So let's get started. I invite the commissioners, Commissioners Cochran-Johnson, Commissioner Larry Johnson, and Commissioner Rader up here to the front. And while they're coming up, to my far left, we have a cadre of DeKalb firefighters and drivers and captains and chiefs, so let's give them a hand as well. First up, firefighter Benjamin Albury. Next, firefighter Brian Edegon. Next, firefighter Anthony Barnes. Next, firefighter Frank Bond. Next, firefighter Philip Brooks. Next, firefighter Joseph Brown. Next, firefighter Javier Canty. Next, firefighter Nicholas Smar. Next, firefighter Aristotle Fontenot. Next, firefighter Avery Frizey. Next, firefighter Alexander Griffin. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this individual was one of our fire explorers. So next, we have firefighter James Hairston. Next, firefighter Taylor Head. Next, firefighter Matthew Hines.
Give me the camera.
Next, firefighter Patrick Holcomb. And I'll make mention that his father, Captain Holcomb, is on the force as well. Next, firefighter Sadiq Howard. Next, firefighter Tony Johnson. Being pinned by one of our very own drivers, driver-operator Mark Davis. Next, firefighter Otis Johnson. We got this Johnson thing going on real tough here. And I might add, his dad is a retired captain with Newark Fire Department, Newark, New Jersey. Next, firefighter Shannon Killoran. Next, firefighter Austin Kohler. And he is being pinned by a chief officer from the DeKalb County Fire and Emergency Services Department. Next, firefighter Jonah Lacadis. Next, firefighter Joseph Lambert. Next, firefighter Joseph Lester. Next, firefighter Chaz Logan.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. That's right. That's right.
Next, firefighter Matthew Matala. Next, firefighter Elijah McCoy. Next, firefighter Michael Metter. Next, firefighter Ashmere Moise. You know we love the babies. The baby's actually going to be a week tomorrow, so let's give it up for the baby.
Stop the pose. For this family.
See, that's how we do. We fill in the gap. Next, here we go. We've got firefighter Tatiana Monroe. Here we have one of our fellow brothers from the City of Decatur Fire Department, one of our captains. Next, we have firefighter Mark Morgan. Next, we have firefighter Toby Pascal.
All things in Christ who strengthens me. Hallelujah. Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about, boy.
Next, we have firefighter Jordan Peck. Next, we have firefighter Dorian Perkins. Next, we have firefighter Michael Pfeiffer. He can go into a fire without a helmet if he wants to. Next, firefighter Deontay Pickett. Next, firefighter Joshua Pierce. Next, firefighter Justin Porter. Next, firefighter Matthew Sanders. Here we go, here we go.
Casey Cantrell, you are the love of my life. Will you marry me?
That's DeKalb Fire Rescue for you, full of surprises. And next, congratulations. And next, firefighter Tion Sanders.
No proposals, but he got t-shirts.
Let's give it up for the row of folks who have on Tion Sanders t-shirts. Go ahead, everybody stand up. Show your shirts. Next, firefighter Stephen Scott. Next, firefighter L'Oreal Singleton. Next, Isaiah Sonson. Next, Stephen Sudu. Next, firefighter Andrew Taylor. Next, firefighter Raphael Taylor. Next, firefighter Chandler Tinsley. His father is Battalion Chief Joseph Tinsley, 26-year veteran of DeKalb County Fire Rescue. Next, firefighter Hassani Withers. Next, firefighter Joshua Wooten. And bringing it from the back. And our last one this evening, firefighter Ethan Wooten. And while we're all feeling it all in the spirit, let's go ahead and give it up for these DeKalb County Fire Rescue firefighters. Yeah. All that hard work, all that dedication. Yes. Next, we have some awards presentations, so I'm going to bring up our academy staff to do those presentations. Instructor Charles Gray and Instructor Hans Trotty.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? Before we get started, it is my thing to give a rousing round of applause for the best fire department in the nation, DeKalb County Fire Rescue. Give it up. Yeah. So it is always an honor and a pleasure to be able to hand out some special awards. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna call 16 names and I want you to stand up. Killeron. Or Kaloran, sorry. I've been pronouncing it wrong ever since he's been there. Sudu, Pascal, Porter, Matala, Sanders M, Peck, Moyes, Wooten E, Wooten J, Holcomb, Tinsley, Sunson, Medor, Bond, and Griffin. This class was particularly interesting because all of these people standing up have a grade point average of above 95. Yeah, I was trying to make sure they weren't cheating. But that's amazing, y'all. I mean, it really is. But I need two people to remain standing. That's J. Wooten and E. Wooten. Everybody else sit down. Now, yeah, and both of them named are Wooten. That was kind of cool, too. These guys were separated by 1/10 of a point, and they're both named Wooten. So, Wooten, you got it. No, I was just kidding. Okay. The person with the highest GPA was Ethan Wooten. By 1/10 of a point. Awesome. Moving on to the next special award. Now, this award is based on the fastest PCT time. Okay? Now, just to kind of give you an idea of what these guys and girls have to do. And they have 12 minutes to do it. They have to drag a 165-pound dummy 100 feet. They have to drag a charged engine 3/4 hose line 50 feet. They have to drive a Kaiser sled I-beam back 5 feet. They have to simulate they have to put a hydrant together with a 5-inch hose, a gate valve, and they have to turn it 20 times to simulate turning it on. They have to walk about 175 meters until they get to the tower. They have to take a ladder down, set it up properly. They have to extend an extension ladder and then lower it back into the proper place. They have to climb the tower with a 50-foot section of 2.5-inch hose on their shoulder, which weighs about 40 pounds. They go to the 5th floor. They drop that off. They go out to the balcony on the 5th floor, and they pulled up a hose hoist that's 35 pounds up 5 flights. After they get that done and pull it over, they run to the top of the tower, which is 7 stories high. They ring a bell, ding, and they come back down. They get to the 5th floor. They throw that 2.5-inch back on their shoulder, make their way all the way down, and they finish out by going outside, cranking a K-12 saw 5 times, or pulling the chain 5 times to simulate cranking it. And they do all of that in full turnout gear, breathing air. That's a lot of stuff. Yes. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Now, this was another interesting thing about this class. All right? So the former record for doing all of that you just heard was 6 minutes and 56 seconds. Yeah, wow, seriously. But when I call your name, I want you to stand up. Mr. McCoy, Mr. Harrison, Mr. Metter, Mr. Porter, Mr. Lambert, Mr. Lacados, and Mr. Sanders. All of these gentlemen are a part of what we like to call the prestigious 7-minute club, meaning they did all of this within a 7-minute time period. Matter of fact, gentlemen, why don't you come on over this way? Come on over this way. Did I say Perkins as well? Mr. Perkins, stand up. Yeah, you belong to this crew too. Come on over. Yeah, Mr. Perkins as well. Okay, stop right there, Mr. Harrison. Just give me a line, face the crowd, let them see you. Okay. So all of these gentlemen did it within the 7-minute time frame to be in the 7-minute club. Now, the interesting thing is, as I told you before, the old record was 6 minutes and 56 seconds. 5 of these gentlemen broke that record. It's amazing. It was amazing. But the one who had the fastest time was Mr. Loverman Sanders at 6 minutes and 21 seconds. Give it up. And listen, guys, I do have something for all of y'all, so everybody come this way. Everybody come this way. Everybody come this way. Good job, my friend. Get your award. Good job. That's what I'm talking about. Good job. Good job. Good job. Hey. Good job. Good job. Good job. Yeah, this is a good day. All right, so the next award, this award goes to the particular recruit who just throughout this whole experience, no matter what they had to do, no matter how difficult it was, no matter how long it took, no matter what the weather was, this person had just the best attitude, like all the time. It was actually pretty amazing. Sometimes I was wondering, are you okay? Because you are always smiling. But it was real. That's just naturally who he is. And this person is Mr. Otis Johnson. My man. All the time. All the time. Yeah, come on, show him that smile. Yeah, that's what I looked at every day, all day. That was him, all the time. All right, so this whole thing would not be possible with a few people. I just kind of want to point out some people really quickly. First of all, our staff These guys, please stand up, y'all. They do, in the center, yeah, come on. These guys do a fantastic job day in and day out. They give 100% all the time. It's amazing to see the kind of work they put in. Thank you, guys. You can have a seat. Also, we have to have a leadership team that's not just instructors and chiefs and all that, but we need leadership that comes from their peers. So I had a group of squad leaders. All my squad leaders, stand up, please. Go ahead, yeah, give them a hand. Without the hard work and effort of these young men right here, this would have been very difficult, almost impossible, because every day I had to call on them to do certain things to make sure they got all of these people through this process. And it is no easy thing to get this many people through a process like this. So thank you, gentlemen, from me. Fine job. Fine job. Okay, y'all can have a seat. Now, out of that group of gentlemen, I had 3 other ones who I had to have that work even closer with me to help move all of these people through this process. They were our class guides. So that was Mr. Kaloran, Mr. Wooten, and Mr. Perkins. I need for you to stand up and come this way. I have something for you. Come on. Yes, give them a hand. Handshake, love, good job, brother. Appreciate it. Handshake, love. Now this guy, whoa. From the moment we started, he was the class guide in EMT and at the fire academy with us down at the tower. Every time somebody yelled, he had to come running and make it happen. And he did a fine job. 20 weeks of us yelling and screaming, come here, do this, do that, get this, and go do this. He handled everything we asked him to do. So with that being said, I am giving you this leadership award for being a fantastic leader, being an example to your peers. Good job, fellas. Now, this final award is probably one of my favorites. It is one of my favorites, I'll say that. This award goes to the person who faced probably the most challenges but refused to give up. That's my kind of person. You know, I love the underdog. You know, I know what it's like to not be on top all the time. And to have someone who struggled but refused to give up, that's who I want on my team. That's the one I want on my team. We call this the Lionheart Award, even though, strangely enough, the trophy is an eagle. But with that being said, I got to tell a bit of the story. I really didn't want to, but I'm going to tell a bit of the story. So this particular firefighter was very nervous when they first got there. And they were saying, I'm concerned about being able to pass all of these tests, and particularly the physical tests. But I assured them, I said, look, if you work hard and you listen to me and the rest of these instructors, you will be fine, but you got to put the work in. And day after day, I saw them stay. I saw them work. I saw them improve day after day after day. They weren't where they wanted to be yet, but they kept pushing, kept pushing, kept pushing. And then finally got down to the wire, and it was like, I don't know if I'm going to make this. And I was like, hold on. Have you not been through everything we've asked you to do? Yes. You're going to do it. Got to the last time, guess what? It didn't happen. Had to do it again. But on this last time, they were so determined, nothing in the world was going to stop them from making this happen. So my Lionheart Award goes to L'Oreal Singleton. Gonna make me cry up here. I'm finna cry. Can I have just a couple of minutes to address the class just for a second? First of all, thank you for all of your hard work. Thank you. And we need you. DeKalb County needs you. I've said to you guys over and over again, somebody right now is waiting on you to do your job at the highest possible level you can do it, and they don't even know it yet. The future is coming where you're going to show up somewhere, and somebody's going to need you to be your best. And I hope you believe that your best is there and you're ready and willing to give it to them, because somebody is going to need you. I just want to say one thing. Well, take it back, a couple of things. Then I get out your way. I know y'all ready to go. It's not about me. It's about these people. But you know what? It's two things in this world that really are intriguing to me. Firefighters and butterflies. I know some of y'all saying, what does that have to do with anything? And how do they go together? But just follow me just for a second. Imagine how a fire recruit goes from being a firefighter, from being a recruit to a firefighter. It's almost the same kind of process as a caterpillar going from caterpillar to a butterfly, right? Did you realize, and this is very interesting to me, that before a caterpillar can become a butterfly, it must digest itself. It must basically eat itself alive. Except for one group of cells, and they're called imaginal discs. You ever heard of that before? Isn't that interesting? Imaginal discs. And it kind of lines up with this idea of imagination, right? Because in order for you to do or become the best that you can be or go to where you're trying to go, first, you have to be able to imagine it. You have to have a certain type of vision. So I'm asking you to do this. Have a vision for where you want to go in the future. Start thinking about it now and have a vision for where you want to go in the future. Now, I know I also said that the butterfly digests itself. So that means you need to do this. Take everything that you have learned and make it a part of who you are. Not just knowledge that is kind of random in your brain, but something that you know and you can apply at any moment whenever you need it. And last thing, even after a butterfly has come out of its cocoon, it still has to learn how to fly. So even though, yes, you have completed training, you've done 20 weeks, you've done a lot of great stuff, you still have to learn how to fly. And the way you're going to learn that is when you get out here in the field with these very well-trained firefighters, these chiefs, these captains, these drivers, and these master firefighters on down the line. Learn from these people. Be a perpetual student. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. And remember this, and I'll get out the way. If you look at the highest chief of all chiefs in the fire department, our Chief Fulham, when you look at him, you know what I want you to see? I want you to see a caterpillar. Because he had to go through the same process you did to get to where you are now. Ain't it? He had to go through the same process. So remember, if he can go from being a caterpillar to a butterfly, so can you. Thank you for your hard work, y'all.
Thank you, Professor, PhD, Charles Gray. Next, we have a special presentation from the class from firefighter Otis Johnson and Toby Pascal. So, won't you go ahead?
Good evening, everybody. Such a pleasure to be here. I just wanted to share just a few thoughts on my process of becoming a fireman here. One day, I decided to take a chance that would change my life forever. One day, I bought a plane ticket, I packed my bags, I hugged and kissed my loved ones, and I headed down to good old Georgia. And one day, I stepped foot on hallowed grounds, honored to be a guest of such history of the DeKalb County Fire Rescue. And then, after prayers, paperwork, physical testing, I would be placed with total strangers to whom I wouldn't even begin a conversation with on a normal day. And now, those exact strangers, I will risk my life for them. Now, when I say I will risk my life for them, I'm not just risking it for them, but I'm risking it for their families as well. And with such a sure statement, I hope the audience know that this is a bond that we have today. Now, for the families here today, from different countries, states, and different counties, just know that we are not heroes, but you are the heroes. You are the supporting backbone that gives us the motivation to keep pushing and to keep going and to get us up when we fall down. Just know for our first day on the job, it'll be more nerve-wracking for you than it will be for us. You will put your fears aside and tell us to be careful and send us on our way to go battle the dangers that we will run into on a daily basis. And every time my fellow brothers and sisters who serve their communities, their families will wait, pray, and hope their sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, wives, husbands, and brothers and sisters to come home the same way as they left. Why are me and my classmates here today? Why are we risking it all for total strangers? Why are we ready to give 100% when it's time to battle? Instructor Charles Gray gave us an ultimatum and asked us, what is your why? Why do we want to do this? Why do we put it all on the line? We do this to protect our families. We do this to honor those who has made the ultimate sacrifice because they just didn't give some, they gave it all. We do this because a force greater than me and you have made it our destiny and put us in this position to be warriors on the front line to battle the evils in this world. So I say to my classmates, live your best life, because I know I'm going to live mine. Embrace your families. Never leave home with a heavy heart, because someone will be calling 911, expecting a caring one for their worst day. Take care of your brothers and sisters, those in red and those in blue. And finally, never forget where you came from. Never forget those booger green t-shirts we had to wear all day. Never forget carrying the log, especially the first day. Never forget the brotherhood walk. Smart. Never forget those blisters from our firefighting boots from our South DeKalb walk. Never forget those who didn't think that they could do it, but they did it. And never forget those who made it possible for us to be here today. Those who made this path and wanted us to use it to the best of our ability. And they made it possible by training, performing, and mastering this profession. Lastly, the opportunity that we have, pass it along so others can enjoy the same feeling that we have today. My name is Otis Johnson, and I'm proudly class of 110.
Good evening, everyone. We were separated into two classes, Class A and Class B, and on my behalf, I'm speaking for everyone but Class A also. So, first off, good evening, and I would like to thank you for coming out. I want to thank DeKalb County for this opportunity to be a part of DeKalb County Fire Rescue. Thanks to the instructors for their dedicated weeks of hard work and nurturing expertise to train us to be the best firefighter EMTs we are today. I also want to take the time out to recognize firefighter Singleton and firefighter Monroe. For their hard work and patience they endure with this academy process with 47 males. I know that was not easy. Growing up, many say that they want to become a firefighter, but not many follow through. Becoming a firefighter, you have to have the heart and passion not only to extinguish fires, but to endure, to be prepared and rely on your training to mitigate many situations that may arise on every shift. To endure the training of DeKalb County Fire Rescue, you definitely have to have the heart and thick skin to get through it. One memory I have and will remain with me for my career is the day we walked south DeKalb. And getting home with every inch of my body aching. I would say to myself, is this really worth it? But then I remember what Instructor Heindel said to me. You never know how far you can go until you have gone too far. So let us take you there. The next day I got up, suited my boots, and was ready to go to push through more of intense training that the instructors had intended for us. Many times, Instructor Gray had his talks with us and quoted, "Why are you here? Is your why strong enough to get through this program? What is your why to become a firefighter?" For us and others, it was always questions behind these talks. But to stand here at this podium today, I can now affirm my why, and so my brothers and sisters also. Thanks to all the instructors and the field crew for all their dedication to making sure we get the best training that we needed. They say not everyone gets to become a firefighter, and I can honestly say not everyone gets to become a DeKalb County firefighter. We are the elite of the fire service. And last but not least, DeKalb County is internationally known. We had the opportunity to train with some Saudi Arabia firefighters. I think it was 10 of them. So we are internationally known, and we is often imitated but never duplicated. We are class 110.
Let's give it up for him one more time. Class 110. He's not done yet.
We also want to present the fire instructors with an award, a plaque, on our behalf.
Captain Poole and Instructor Gray, will you guys please come up here for us? On behalf of Class 110, we want to thank you for the whole Fire Academy's hard work and dedication and just teaching us how to do this job. Thank you.
And next for the firefighter oath, Fire Chief of DeKalb County Fire Rescue, Darnell Fulham.
Oh, thank you. All right. Good afternoon. I'll tell you, CEO, I don't know how we're going to top this one. 49 recruits. We talked about that record. We'll top that one. We're going to top that one. But the birth of a child, new child, a proposal, a rap song, I don't know if we're going to be able, we might have to have a trapeze act up here next graduation, but we'll see what we can do. But no, really, we always want this to be a family fun moment because those recruits have endured. You know it, because I know they've come home tired, maybe a little upset, cranky, having to study, miss family events, go to sleep early, all those things. So we know that they endured, but we also know that you had to endure. So I'm going to ask the recruits to stand up and give you a hand clap. Yes, recruits. You're not done yet. But I want you to stand and give your family members and your friends a hand clap for what they had to do over this last 20-plus weeks. Thank you. So now, you can have a seat. I told the recruits, and I do this every time that we have a new class of recruits come in that first week or so, I'm going to talk to them, and I'm going to talk about the challenges. I'm going to talk about the commitment that's needed in order to become firefighters. And as you heard, to become DeKalb County firefighters. But one thing I always leave them with, and that is that the proudest moment to me of a fire chief is standing right there, shaking their hands when they have accomplished all the things that they talked about. It's the proudest moment that I have because I know what it takes. I think it was, who was it? Gray mentioned me becoming a butterfly. Well, that was 31 years ago, so my wings are a little tattered now, but I appreciate you putting me in that mindset. But yes, it was 31 years ago for me, so I know how it is to walk across the stage and to have your chest stick out just a little bit further and be proud. I saw tears. I saw big smiles. And so congratulations once again. Now, I have to say a few thank yous, so just be patient with me. It won't be long. First, I have to start with the CEO. He talked about the 4%. CEO, this may have been a first. This group, at least part of them, received that 4% when they were in training. How about that? They were still in recruit school, and we were able to tell them that they were getting an additional 4%, and they hadn't done much yet, okay? So, but we thank you for your support of public safety and where we're headed. We're not done yet. We have a great fire department. There's some great folks out here, all around here. But we only look at that as being a milestone. We got miles to go yet. We're going to be a world-class fire department. That's what we're committed to, and that's what you'll have. I also have to thank the commissioners for their support. Thank you for being here. Commissioner Cochran-Johnson, thank you for being here first time. I hope you've enjoyed it. Once again, it's not always like this, but we'll try to get it this way as close as we can. But thank you, commissioners, for your support of the department as well. I also have to thank this group in the middle. You heard from one, Instructor Gray, but let me tell you, they all have that passion, the passion for training. They do an outstanding job. Dare I say, you saw some firefighters from other departments. They must feel pretty comfortable about having their sons and daughters here with this department because they know what it takes. And it's because of these folks in the middle that just do an outstanding job. So I want to give you a hand clap. They've heard me say this many times. They know what good work gets them is more work. So actually, when they finish here, when will it start? When does the next group come down? March 11th, they'll have the next group in, and they'll start training again. It keeps going for them. They do an outstanding job. So now I get a chance to do the pledge, but I feel, or excuse me, the oath, but I feel like it's important that I make a pledge to you. And the pledge is really twofold. You heard the CEO mention about having the best trained, best equipped, best paid firefighters. But I internalize that as well, and that is that my pledge to you is that we will continue the training so that they can do their job. We'll ensure that they have the equipment that they need so they can be protected. And the second one is even more important. But we also pledge that though they may have to go in harm's way, because we can't control that element, but we can make sure that they do not take unnecessary risk. And that is my pledge to each one of you. So now, I'm going to ask them to stand up, and they're going to have to raise their right hand. Now, I got to tell you something. It was mentioned a little bit about millennials and the different, the rap. CEO, I have to mention I was nervous. I don't normally show when I'm nervous. Folks will tell you that, but I got a little nervous when they told me there was a rap video. I just have to say it. I'm from a generation before, but well done, folks. Well done. Also, And they did that video. That entire video was done by the recruit class, so well done. Something else I want to mention, it just shows a generation gap. I always go over the loyalty oath that they're getting ready to say beforehand. We go through it because we want to make sure we do it right. But today it was interesting because we went through it a couple times, and then somebody said, one of the recruits, he's smiling over there, he said, "Chief, can I see the oath?" And I was wondering, why you want to see the oath? And he said, "Well, I'm going to take a picture of it, and I'll send it to all of them, and we can be looking it over while we're sitting there." And I think within a few seconds, all of them had it. So, yeah, just a different generation. Just a different generation. So I want you to hear something, and you're going to hear them say, and it's a key point to me within this oath. I'm going to read it to you. You all don't repeat it yet. But this line I think sums it up of who we are. And it says, "I will always remember that I am a public servant." I will always remember I am a public servant. You ready? Raise your right hand. I state your name, do solemnly swear that I will perform the duties as a firefighter of DeKalb County Fire Rescue to the best of my skill and ability, that I will not let personal or political influence or prejudice alter my official conduct to the slightest degree. I will always remember that I am a public servant. I will perform my duties to the best of my ability in any capacity or section, which will serve the best interests of the DeKalb County Fire Rescue and the citizens of DeKalb County. I further promise and swear I will uphold the Constitution of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America to the best of my ability. Congratulations to DeKalb County firefighters. So we have one more item before you leave.
And just before we bring up Fred Poole, Captain Fred Poole, to dismiss the class, we talked about our new firefighters. We talked about those instructors in the middle section. But in this section immediately to my right, to my left, who you have not heard a lot about, and to my firefighters over there on the side, I want us to thank them for their leadership. You know, Deputy Chief Smith, he runs everything outside of fire engines and fire equipment. He makes sure that that stuff keeps going. Deputy Chief Shane Dobson makes sure that our operational personnel and our folks are out there delivering the service that you solely deserve. And our firefighters over there on the side make sure that these firefighters are going to come out of that cocoon and become butterflies. So let's give them all a hand for what they do in their leadership. And now as I bring up Captain Fred Poole, my classmate of almost 25 years, come on, Cap, and give him the dismissal.
Good evening. I want to say a couple things. I normally don't do this because I do not like speaking in front of people. I've got to give some big thanks. The command staff that supports us, if we didn't have their support, we couldn't do what we do. Operations, field guys, with this big class that we had, we called on them constantly. I know it created issues within their realm of scheduling, but they stepped up every time we needed their help. They were there. We got to give a big thank you to that. And all the instructors, the EMS and fire instructors, if it weren't for them, these new firefighters would not be sitting over there. So I just want to say thank you for the support that y'all give to the Fire Academy. Thank you. Firefighters, on your feet. For final time, Class 110, dismissed.
Let's give it up for your DeKalb County Fire Rescue Department firefighters.